In today's story, the House passes a border funding bill in the Senate after Nancy Pelosi backs down on amendments. Thanks for tuning into the Epoch News. I'm Angela Anderson. The House has passed a $4.6 billion emergency border aid package following House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's decision to back down on efforts to amend the bill after facing intense pressure to approve it before the week-long recess. The bill passed 322 to 85 in the afternoon of June 27. This allows the Senate-drafted measure aimed at the humanitarian crisis on the US-Mexico border to be sent to President Donald Trump for signature. The measure would ease a cash crunch at federal agencies that care for migrants after their facilities and resources were overwhelmed by an influx of illegal immigrants in recent months. Hours after she pressed for changes to the Senate's bill, Pelosi said in a statement on June 27 that she was abandoning a plan to add further measures for migrant children in order to break the impasse on passing the bill.
In order to get resources to the children fastest, we will reluctantly put the Senate bill on the floor.
The border funding package to fund Trump's humanitarian aid request for the southern border returned to the House after passing the Senate with overwhelming bipartisan support, passing with an 84-8 vote on June 26. The House attempted to make changes to the bill on the morning of June 27, stating that it needed more protections for migrant children. Vice President Mike Pence and Pelosi had an hour-long conversation on the legislation on June 27. Facing extensive pressure and with the recess looming, Pelosi subsequently decided to reverse course. The bill contains more than $1 billion to shelter and feed migrants detained by the Border Patrol and almost $3 billion to care for unaccompanied migrant children who are turned over to the Department of Health and Human Services. The Senate version of the legislation isn't as strict in setting conditions on the delivery of funding to care for unaccompanied children and contains funding which is opposed by House Democrats to finance logistic support provided by the Defense Department and to ease a payroll pinch at ICE. Earlier in the day, McConnell said on the Senate floor that they would reject any partisan effort to disrupt our bipartisan progress, adding that Senate Republicans had already made a compromise on the bill.
The United States Senate is not going to pass a border funding bill that cuts the money for ICE and the Department of Defense. It's not going to happen.
Reacting to Pelosi's announcement, some progressive House Democrats expressed anger over the decision. Meanwhile, top Democrat Senator Patrick Leahy urged Pelosi to approve the Senate version of the bill earlier in the day. He told The Hill, "No Republican gets everything they want and no Democrat gets everything they want. Our bill is a good compromise." And in a response to the Senate bill, President Trump tweeted, "The Republican Senate just passed bipartisan humanitarian assistance for our southern border, 84-8. In addition to aid, Congress must close the catastrophic loopholes that are driving the crisis. We must end incentives for smuggling children, trafficking women and selling drugs." And that's all for today's story on the Epoch News. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Please make sure to leave your thoughts below. And if you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in and we'll see you next time.